All right, next question. I have a habit to be extremely emotional, especially if I'm hung up about a woman. This is bad, and I would like help on how to live life more stoically. Yeah, it is bad.
You're right. It is bad. But we've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
We have all been there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a fuck who you are. The most masculine men in the world.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in their life, they've been there before.
Yeah.
It might have been in their early 20s. It might have been when they're a teenager. It might have been when they're in their 30s. Or it might have been that high school sweetheart that you married and then you guys get divorced when you're 35. Yeah. We've all been there. But at the end of the day, you just got to move on. You got to get past it. Mm-hmm. And I know that because we both went through a breakup at the same time. And something that helped us with that was realizing that the person that we created in our head wasn't real.
That person, Jakob says it, but you don't want to make them, sound evil, but that person is not who you think they are.
No,
right?
we have things that we have certain things that we want in life, and we also apply that to people,
right,
including friends. Yeah, we see a side of them that fits our vision of what we want.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right, from an evolutionary standpoint, we humans, we want to seek pleasure, not pain, right? So our brain will create an artificial story about this individual, especially not being with them for a long amount of time. I mean, you notice like after a month of being broken up for that person, you think you're fine, and then a memory pops back in, and you create this whole fictitious like idea of what they were. Yeah. And all of a sudden you miss them again. It's like,
you miss that idea.
Exactly. You don't miss them.
You miss the idea. And same that applies to this guy, I think. He misses the good times, but you don't really remember the bad times. And that's the bad part as well, is the further the separation goes, the more you forget about those bad times. You just start remembering the good shit.
Because they felt good and they ingrained themselves in your long-term memory.
Right. And your brain starts replaying those memories because it wants to release dopamine.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to say you're living in a fantasy, but at the same time, you've probably created a reality that isn't real,
Oh, no. Yeah, most definitely. And how would you like to live more stoically and get away from that like mindset?
You just got to do it, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's as easy as that. Right. But I would say, make a mental note of all the bad things, and not in a bad way. Like, don't do it out of revenge sake or like screw them. More so like, hey, these traits in this relationship were really toxic, not just to me, but to them. And realize that, because when we start creating these ideas in your brain down the road, you'll have this list to go look back on.
You remind yourself.
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
bad times.
Exactly. So,
you need that sometimes. And we're not saying this person's bad. A lot of times relationships just end because people aren't compatible with each other.
Yeah.
But you do need to realize what you want and how that person was not providing it for you.
Right. And like, I mean, and I don't say that to say that the other person's bad. I'm saying that write down what was bad within that relationship. Not necessarily from them, but from, I recognize my own faults and a lot of times, and realize it's just not what the other person needs and vice versa.
And that's something I want to touch on as well.
Yeah.
You probably learned something great from this. Did they get divorced or they separated?
Right. I mean, it doesn't say anything.
Okay. Well, either way, you probably learned something from this experience. You probably learned a lot about yourself. Make that your main priority to grow from. Yeah. Realize the mistakes that you made, where you can do better in your next relationship. And that's it, man. Consider this breakup a blessing.
Right. I mean, it happened for you.
That's really, it happened for you, not to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it also, it seems like this has happened before, especially if I'm hung up about a woman. So it seems to like happen.
That could be emotional triggers as well from your youth. Maybe your mom, maybe you had a bad experience with your mom, like maybe she left or something. That's what happened with me. Yeah. So I'm talking as if, maybe this happened. That's what happened with me. So my emotional triggers when it comes to breakups and stuff is being abandoned by my mom when I was 6 months old.
Right.
That's somewhere in my subconscious. And whenever me and a chick break up, it triggers that. And I'd go off my fucking rocker, man. But it's not because this chick left, because I don't really give a fuck about that. There's more of them out there.
Right.
But it's the fact that I'm having that same experience replayed from whenever I was 6 months old or a year old or whatever like that. So that could very well be it as well. So don't beat yourself up about being less of a man or some shit because you're so upset that this chick left you and you just can't get over it. It could very well be something from your youth that you just completely forgot about. And it's just buried in your subconscious.
Yep. And that yes, from your youth, something traumatic could have happened, but also it could be the conditioning in which he's raised, right? Because most of us today, young men, are raised with a feminized kind of perspective. We're raised by women.
Yep.
We're educated by women, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong
And
with
we
that.
watch fucking movies
Yes,
with those on.
and we create idealized societal images. And what I'm getting at is, dude, that girl and the girl before her and the girl before that, they're not the only one for you. They're, like, delete the idea of the one in
that
your
doesn't
brain,
exist.
right? Look for compatibility, look for the right mesh.
Right.
But if you start subscribing to the fact that this woman was the end all be all, well, you're shooting yourself in the foot right now.
And we all want that.
Of course,
Like, it sounds amazing, but
Right.
it's a fantasy.
Yeah, and this could be said for men and women too,
Yeah,
because women get
absolutely.
hung up on the same issues.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a man like telling you how to deal with a
Yeah,
relationship.
everything that we're saying applies to women as well.
Yeah, exactly. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah.